Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Drum Taking with Tom. This episode is actually a little bit more interesting, I think. It's going to be, there's things happen, there's different camera angles. So yeah, let's have a look, see what we get up to today. First things first, we are fixing a Gretsch Catalina club from the hires. We're fixing its kick drum legs. So in front of me right now, I've got two brand new legs. I've also got the broken one, which I just ripped a little bit of rubber from. And we just need to basically put these new legs on. These are quite cheap legs. And the holes don't exactly match. So we're gonna see what we can do. Probably have to drill some more holes, but again, my job is to just get this back so it can be hired out to the world and to gigs and to people. It's not necessarily to make it look as pretty as I possibly can or use the best stuff, because you can buy replacement legs, but they're significantly more money than these legs that we bought, and they are significantly better quality and they probably will last longer. But this drum has been out quite a lot already, you know. I think they've probably made their money back off of this particular drum kit, if you think about it like that. And they just need it to have a couple of fresh legs on it and do a couple more gigs, especially when they're busy. When the Great Escape comes around in Brighton, there's like every venue in the center of the city turns into a music venue. So it could be a coffee shop normally, but so all of these new venues need drum kits and need gear, and this is when these sorts of drum kits get hired out. So yeah, we just got to take the top head off, or the bottom head actually. What is it on the kick drum? Would you call that the top head or the bottom? At the minute it's the top, right, but it's the reso head, so the resonant side of the head. And this one's in pretty good condition actually. It's got the I think it's the Evans reso kick with the porthole already cut, and they sound really cool actually. I found that you can see in the top right that picture of Ringo Starr. Well, it's Ringo Starr, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it must be a picture of their two faces combined, but I found it in the back of the loft, just behind loads of shelves and stuff, and I was like, you know what, that's got to come to Drum World surely. So I saved it from obscurity. I don't know who made it or where it came from, but I love it actually. I think it's great. So now we've got that head off and the rim and the hoop and everything, we can get a little bit more access to the drum. It'll sit nicer for when I'm trying to match up these legs to the correct holes. That's quality right there. See how that little rubber foot fell off? You don't get that with Gretsch stuff. So I'm just working out how this is going to work. There's a certain sort of, you can see it, the convex to the leg, because obviously it has to sit on a round drum. So you just have to be a little bit careful about which way you mount it, what holes you're going to use. And I'm just going to see what holes I can use, because I know these aren't going to match up perfectly. I knew that when we bought them for £8 a leg, do you know what I mean? But you can always use one hole. That's the key, I think. Find the hole that works the best, and essentially you want to cover all the other holes up as well. You don't want it to look quite nice, you know. So I'm going to drill some holes in a second, and yeah, we're just going to see if we can fit these legs on so they look good. This is me just trying to... So these legs didn't come with screws, mounting screws with washers on the inside. So I'm trying to find some screws. I think these are the old screws, which do work when I'm twisting them in like that. They're going in, the thread's working fine. But when I'm like trying to do it through the shell, I'm just struggling to find the hole. But I think I quickly realized I'm not struggling to find the hole. The rod or the thread part of it is just too short, because on these old Gretsch legs they had a little pointy bit, so they would go in the shell a little bit and then you would screw that in, whereas these new legs don't. These new legs don't have anything that goes inside of the shell to allow that thread to match up nicely. These are just on the outside, so I need to find some screws that have a longer thread bit basically, but are the same width. As you can see here, these black ones that I find, they're a bit longer, so they should poke all the way through and be able to match up nicely with the thread on the other side. And they pretty much do, right? So now I've got that one in. Just checking, seeing if that's the right one, the one I want it in. So the mount covers the rest of the holes. Again, this is not going to be perfect or pretty, and there will be some mistakes along the way, but we learn. Every time I do one of these, I learn a little bit more about how to do them and what not to do, right? But yeah, there you go. It looks great. So that's me just testing that I've got it the right way up, and it's going to work that way with the drum, and it does. So we'll take this apart and try and drill those other two holes. I quite like the finish on this Gretsch as well, actually. It's like a faux wood grain burst brown. I think it looks really cool. Looks really smart. These Catalinas as well are like, they punch well above their weight in terms of sound. They sound really, really cool. And I find most Gretsch hardware actually is really solid as well. I've never really had Gretsch lugs sort of pop off, or I haven't seen a lot of them snap or crack. But with the Catalina stuff, I mean, they used to be a lot cheaper, but they're not so cheap now. I think you can pick one up for about 600 new, 650 potentially, depending on sizes. So they're getting towards that mid-range budget. I guess they're between budget and mid-range. I wouldn't call them necessarily budget. I think they're Gretsch's budget. Actually, no, they don't. Gretsch do have a budget line. I just can't remember what it was now, but they do have one similar to like the Pearl Roadshow of the world, like the really cheap stuff. So the Catalinas, like, yeah, they're sort of I would say they're solid sort of mid-range, you know, great kits. Just gonna grab the drill and then see if we can start drilling some holes into this drum. I decided on using a hole cutter first. So as you can see, this is the drill bit that I decided on, because I was like, okay, we've got to drill a pretty big hole, big enough for the screw to go through. And I don't know if I had a lot of other choice, but I think looking at it now, I think this was a mistake. I shouldn't have used this massive hole cutter, because it's just unnecessary. It didn't need these holes to be that big, basically. But here we go. Trying to be as careful as I can and sort of do it quite slowly and until it starts to bite and cut the actual hole. So yeah, turn the drill up even more. And I want to try and not go all the way through. That's what I always try when I'm drilling into drums. I don't know if this is correct or anything, but I try and drill most of the way, and then I come at it from the other side as well, just to stop or try and limit the amount of sort of blowing out you do at the back. 'Cause if you go all the way through and you press really hard, you tend to create a lot of splinters on the back side of the wood. I'm sure there must be a way. I think I've seen someone use tape as well, so you can put tape. I think I've used this myself actually in the past, trying to put a bit of like masking tape across the back, and I think that helps with a lot of those splinters as well. But I find if you can and you know where the hole is, because I can see this hole on the other side, the middle bit, it's easy enough for me to just go through and just drill from the opposite side. So there you saw sort of you feel it go a little bit, and then you know you're pretty much all the way through, and then you can start again from the other side. And that's it, we're through with minimal damage. And this is where I realise that hole's too big. It's massive, right? Way too big. I don't know what I was thinking, but you know what? A big hole can always be covered up with a big washer. And this is me now thinking, can I get this washer? Because there's a washer on this screw. This is the screw I found out earlier would work. It's got the longer thread on it, so it'll poke through the shell. But it already had a washer on it. A lot of these drum sort of screws come with washers already built on them, and they don't twist off. They're just on there, which is nice, you know. You're not losing washers when you're taking stuff apart. But when you need to find a washer, it's a little bit more annoying. Because there's so many times where I want to nick those little washers from the screws in all these little parts, but they're just such a pain to get off. So this is me on the hunt now. I've realised the mistake. We got to find a washer big enough. And a screw big enough, really. Because I'm not sure I used those black ones in the end. So we'll think about that later. Might as well carry on as we go. Why not? Do it again, right? I don't know why I didn't change drill bit then. I think because something to do with it being symmetrical. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to do a hole, cut it with the same size. Because then it looks, I don't know, it looks nice. Otherwise they'll have 3 little holes, massive hole, and then another little hole, which I don't know if that's that right with me. I don't know. Maybe that's me being mental, actually. But I think the 2 big holes with a little hole, I think that looks better. And at the end of the day, you'll see actually when it's finished, you can't see actually any of the holes. So no one will ever know unless you film it and put it on YouTube. So that's one of the big washers I found with a little screw on it. I'm just checking to see if it pokes all the way through. Don't think that one does. It's too short. Would have been perfect because it's a big washer. Does this one? Maybe. I think that might be the one. So we'll keep that one. I think we had 2 of those anyway. I think those are the black ones from earlier. That little jump there, I think, was it took me a little while to find screws, and I think it was like 10 minutes of me looking for the right screws. So I thought, I don't think anyone wants to view that, do they? Me just looking through the drawers. But we found them. A couple of these black ones. I know where these are from as well. They're from a Mapex. That's quite sad, isn't it? But I know, yeah, I think I might even know the drum. But they're Mapex screws. There's a really nice... Did you see that drum under the table there? It's a really nice Slingerland high tom, 12-inch high tom. And it's been under the desk sort of the whole time that I've worked here. And I still don't know whose it is, but I love it. I just think it's the coolest thing. It's like in this green sparkle. But there's only the 12. I think I've seen like the 13 as well. There you go. I just dropped that into the ether. There's no chance you're getting that back. Look, I didn't even attempt. I just went for another one because, again, 5 more minutes of searching for screws. I didn't want to do it. I'm not doing it. But yeah, the Slingerland 13-inch, I think I've seen downstairs somewhere. But I would love to know if the whole kit's in the building. I don't think it is. I feel like I would have seen it by now, unless it's in the studio down the corridor, which is exciting because tomorrow I'm going to film another one of these, and I'm actually going to the studio, and it'll be the first time you see a lot of the drums that live down there. And they tend to be the best drums in this place because it's the recording studio, so they got a lot of vintage stuff, vintage Ludwig, Gretsch and Slingerland and Premiere, and so yeah, it's quite cool. I haven't seen them in a while as well because I haven't had a chance. They're quite busy, so I don't get a chance to go down there a lot when there's a recording session going on. So I haven't seen them in ages, so it'll be interesting to see what they look like. They don't get as abused down there because obviously they're not all getting used all the time, but the kits tend to, in Studio 2, so they've got 2 studios, Studio 2 tends to get a little bit more beaten up because they sometimes use that as a rehearsal studio if they're like super busy. But during the summer, then they're not very busy, so that gives me an opportunity to get down there and check out the drums, yeah, see how they sound, so that's quite exciting. Okay, here we go. The angle is not great in terms of what you can see, right? But you can see there's one up there. I found these silver ones with massive washers. I don't know where they came from. But they got huge washers. I don't know what they were meant for, but they do work. They were just really fiddly to find the hole on the other side. They work just long enough, so you had to be really precise. And also, actually, I found out, I just remembered, some of these were different lengths. So they were the same screw with the same big washer, but they were different lengths. And I think I figured this out in a second. Look, I'm having a look, right? And I don't think that's the right one. And then I look at this one, and I was like, that's definitely longer. So I was just attempting to try and get that in when it was never going to go, because I think it was just too short. There you go. So I think I found that one. And it's pretty much on. Are we in? No. We're close though. It was boiling this day as well. So hot up in this little loft. Thankfully, this week the temperatures dropped a bit actually, so this sort of work is way more doable. It's nice, you know. We're not sweating. There you go. We found it. We're in. Now we're just going to tighten these up. Not too tight. And there you go. Look at that. One leg. You can see the little hole poking out. So we're not covered it fully right. But if you didn't know, you weren't looking, you wouldn't know. Don't tell me you would, because you wouldn't. And these legs actually work quite well as well. They've got I know they're cheap, but there's not a lot to like break on them, if that makes sense. The only thing that I find falls out a lot is the end bit, and then if that's gone, then you're like, oh, the bit with the drum screw, you know what I'm screwing up now. The feet will go. The feet are destined to leave, to be left in a venue somewhere. Those little black things. I mean, they fell off when I just got them out of the packet, so, and they will fall off, but it's fine. Then you've got the pointy spindles left, and they work really well, to be fair. I think the rubber feet will only really work, you know, when you don't want to scratch the floor and maybe on a smooth floor, but they don't even work. Do you know what I mean? Like, you always have a little bit of the spindles poking out of the bottom of the feet, because without it, it just slides. It just always moves away. I've never had a bass drum on a smooth floor with just the rubber parts stay where I want it to stay. Drum rug is the drummer's best friend. I've forgotten drum rugs so many times, and now I just keep one in my car, because it's the worst feeling when you turn up and you're like, oh, there's a marble floor and you don't have a rug, and you're like, oh no. Oh no. I saw our David R actually, he did he put a piece of bungee rope around his drum stool and then onto his bass drum, and that kept it sort of in place, but that's like that's sort of the last thing you want to be doing, isn't it? Setting up your kit, ready to play a gig. So now we've got to take the other leg off. Done one leg, we're doing both. You can see that leg, it was the bottom bit that had fallen out completely, so I couldn't find a replacement part, so I had to just buy new ones. And here you go. I've realised my mistake, sorry, and we're using a more appropriate sized drill bit. And this drill bit was sharper as well, I think, so it sort of worked in my favour. But yeah, it's, you know, you learn these things as you go, and you figure it out. New camera view. I cut a couple of these in this one. I'm just trying them out. Annoyingly, I did this one portrait, which was stupid of me. I need to do a landscape, obviously. But I thought it'd be nice for you to see a different angle, and yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard, you know, to set these cameras up. That K, you can see that symbol, that Zildjian K on the top of the workbench, that needs to be repaired. So you get a lot of symbols sent upstairs as well for us to repair. But that one's got a really horrible repair. It's where that, you know, where the green sticker is. There's a crack right in the middle, and always the middle of the symbol repairs are just, they can be a nightmare. They're more fiddly, and I think they're more prone to break again, because they're really hard to, I don't know, they just feel like, yeah, you sort of have to baby the cymbal maybe a little bit afterwards, or get one final gig out of it. I don't know why the edge of the cymbal cracks just feel way more, I don't know, manageable, especially if you catch them early and you do a big enough of a sweep. I saw Benny Greb, didn't he release a, was it Benny Greb? He released a cymbal intentionally with, he's with Minor, right? So it must have been a Minor cymbal. Maybe it wasn't Benny Greb, actually. Maybe it was I can't remember. Anyway, it could have been a cymbal manufacturer, but they actually intentionally cut a bit out of the cymbal and they were selling it because from some old sort of like 70s record, that's what they were using, and it does change the sound of the cymbal. A repair on a cymbal, and I think they sound quite cool. But selling a sort of notched out cymbal, that's sort of wild, actually. But again, if that's the way to get to the sound you need to, that you need or you want to get to, I mean, it's a great thing. Saves you having to buy a £400 cymbal and then do it yourself, I guess. But I love cracked cymbals. I use them all the time. So again, same old struggles. Trying to find the right size bolt. This one I'm struggling with quite a lot. Did I just say please go in there? It's annoying, right? When you can't find the right thing or the right part, it is annoying. And again, it would be so simple if I could just buy the Gretsch legs, but it's not my decision. Not my studio, so I'm not buying Gretsch legs. And I probably wouldn't do it at my studio either if it was Catalina. Maybe if it was a Renown, you know, or a broadcaster, then you go get the proper legs, you know. But for a Catalina hires kit, I think you can cheap out a little bit on the legs. I think they were literally £8 each from Amazon or eBay or one of those. Alright, I've given up with those ones, so we've got to find some others. They weren't working. Oh, look at that. Straight in with these ones. It's such a massive benefit of having this sort of like sort of array of like spare parts at your fingertips. It makes these sorts of jobs like so much easier. I think I'm looking for my screwdriver here, just so we can tighten everything up by hand, because sometimes the that little screwdriver thing is just not ideal, to be fair. Look at that. To be fair, I think I didn't actually put this video in, but I was trying to give you like a close-up, but you could see there anyway through the thing. I was just showing you the holes being covered up by the washers. So you can see they were still on show, but they do a good job. Like, it looks quite neat, right? So you look at that compared to what it did look like. It looked a mess before. But now look at it. It's like, you know, you wouldn't even know. You could use a bit of wood filler, I guess. If you really wanted to go the 9 yards, if you think those little slivers of holes are going to change the sound of a bass drum stuffed with towels that much. But yeah, I don't. It'll be fine. It will sound wicked, this kit. There you go. We done it. We got both legs on. How long did that take? That wasn't crazy, was it? So yeah, just gonna clean up the drum now, put the heads back on, and get it ready to put back downstairs. Just gonna give this shell some love. It didn't look too bad, to be fair. Where the hoop and the heads were touching the edges was pretty bad, but the middle of it's not that bad. It's pretty clean. It wasn't even that. I mean, dust is the main thing because it's been sat up in the loft for months now, to be honest. Because we ordered, I think I ordered 4 kick drum legs, and then the ones downstairs in the rehearsal rooms all started to break. So this is the Yamaha, I think the Yamaha Stage Customs. I don't know if I showed it on the channel. I think I did in one of the earlier videos, but all those legs started to go, so I just had to keep using those for the kits that are constantly in use downstairs. So it was meant for this, but these are now the 3rd or 4th pair that we've bought, and all the ones downstairs are done. And yeah, so it sort of was the least on the priority list, so it was just sat in a corner getting dusty. But it's, yeah, we made it. We're here before, and it's summer now, so these are the sorts of jobs you want to be doing over summer, is the jobs that when the studio is busy. So when the rehearsal side of the business is busy, the rooms are just, they need so much more care. They'll take up my whole, because I'm only here 1 day a week for like 3 hours in the morning. They'll take the whole 3 hours, all the rooms will, and I won't get much time to do this unless I come in on an extra day or stay an extra hour and just plan to do put kick drum legs on a highest kit. You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah, it's not that easy, and you can see how long this has taken me to put 2 legs on a drum kit. It's not, and then clean it, and then put the heads back on. It's not a quick job, and you find that a lot on drums. It's never a quick job. Even if you have everything at your fingertips, I'm sure there's some guys out there like, probably like Preston comes to the top of my head from Tiki Drums. I mean, he's got a crazy setup down in Devon, and yeah, he could do a much better and quicker job than me, but I don't think he would do this though for minimum wage. So, gonna put all the tension rods back in. I got the Vaseline out there because we're just gonna grease up all of the tension rods as we put them back in. We might as well, as it's here, and can't imagine this reso head is going to get taken off in the next year or even 2 years. Gonna try and wipe a lot of the excess off as we go as well. Just, you saw there, I just picked up the cloth, and a lot of the time when you use Vaseline, sometimes you use too much and it just sort of comes out the end, and then when you're handling the drum you'll just get like this like really horrible like greasy something, you know, when you're grabbing it out of the case, you get it on your hands and on your clothes, and it's not ideal. So I just try and get rid of that as much as possible as well. So they're pretty much all in now. We're just going to try and get everything finger tight. This one didn't want to go, so I'm just going to give it a bit more love. One of these didn't really want to go. I think I'll swap them around in a second, but is it that one? I think it's that one. You can see that I'm trying to get it finger tight, but it's not. It gets to a point and then it gets sort of like stuck, which is annoying. So I'm just going to try a new tension rod. To see if it's the tension rod's fault or if it's the lug's fault. And it looks to be like it was the tension rod's fault. So I tend to just leave that one until I've done them all, and then you get to the end. Sometimes it just works. Sometimes it was just the thread of the tension bolt and the thread of the lug aren't loving each other. So sometimes you don't get, but sometimes you get to the end and then you have like one that doesn't want to go in any, and then you just have to recut that thread. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's fine. So now we got to look for a batter side head. It didn't have one when it came to me, so it was sort of, that was one of the other problems. Someone had like, the head was split. It was completely broken. So I have to find a batter side now. I don't have any fresh ones, unfortunately. I know I didn't have any EMADs, so we're going to use some of the old heads that the Cure gave to the studio. And this is sort of, it's a power stroke, right? So Remo make heads for drum manufacturers, and then they can put their logo on it. So that's a Yamaha P3, is it? P2? Well, one of the power strokes, right? So it's a kick drum head. It's clear. It sounds really nice. There you go. That's like a normal Remo one that I just picked up, but it was in worse condition, so I didn't really want to use it. But putting a Yamaha head on a Gretsch kit is quite sad. So what I'm going to do is get some acetone and try and take the Yamaha logo off, basically. Just, that's for my peace of mind. I don't think anyone else would care, or use a bit of tape. I just don't think it looks great. They sound great, but I don't think it looks great. So now I'm looking for the hoop. So I'm pretty sure it came upstairs with both hoops, but I have no idea where it's gone. So I took it off, and it was in that corner where I was just looking, and yeah, I don't know where it went. So now I spend about 10 minutes looking for this thing, and yeah, I don't know where it is. It could be behind the shelving unit, it could be under, so like it will, I think it will turn up, but I just can't find it anywhere. Probably tomorrow when I go in, it'll be sat on the desk, because I told someone about it, so people are on the lookout for it. So yeah, I sort of just have to leave this drum, which is annoying when you sort of half finish a job. I do find a hoop, so I think I went to the sort of drum graveyard up onto the second floor of the loft, and I find a 20-inch hoop to put on it, but it doesn't look great. So yeah, hopefully the other hoop shows up, and then we can just use that, put that back together, and then that'll be ready to go. Enjoy a couple more minutes though of me looking for this hoop. I don't think I could let this one go. So it's, yeah, I was searching for such a long time. This is me going to the drum graveyard. I call it the drum. I think it's a graveyard for a lot of stuff, actually. You can see all those PAs. I think they've reached the end of their life. In that corner, there used to be more up here, actually, believe it or not. There was so much hardware, it was unbelievable. But someone did a dump run and, yeah, got rid of it all. So there's not much left up here. There's bits, though, and I can steal lugs from, and I don't know, wing nuts from hardware or hi-hat parts. It is handy to have some of it lying around. So this is a 20-inch hoop I found, but you can hear there's something in it. Can you hear that rattling? Which is annoying. And then I think I find another one. Let's look. Or do I leave it at that? But you can see, right? So it would work as a 20-inch hoop, but it doesn't look great. It looks all right on camera. I think it looks worse in person, to be honest. But on camera, it doesn't look too bad. That's that Slingerland, actually. You can see it closer up there, the one I talked about earlier. It's very cool. Again, I just thought the hoop would be under there. Here, I thought I found it. I was like, oh my god, we found it. No. It's just another 20-inch hoop. I don't know where this one came from. It doesn't rattle, though, this one. And it's made of wood. So it's better. But we leave it. And we try and find the real hoop. So stay tuned for whenever that happens. Or maybe it won't. Who knows? So yeah, that's done. But the video does not end here. We go do a bit of room maintenance now. So, like I said, in the summer when it's quieter, I can do jobs like that. Because the rehearsal studio is so quiet and the drums aren't getting as abused as much, and they don't need as many head changes and cleaning and things like this, so I can do jobs like that and then come downstairs and do the drum rooms, and it won't take me as long as when it's peak season, when all the universities are back. It takes me quite a long time to do all of the rooms within 3 hours, so I don't get a lot of time to do any other stuff. So I was just looking at the rooms, and then I found this. I found this snare drum, and it was funny because I put this head on. I don't know if you remember from another video. I actually put this head on like last week. I think it was like the last video I did, and you could see it there. It was absolutely battered. And I knew when I put it on. So that was the Ambassador Remo head, so single ply coated, and it just took an absolute beating. I don't know what happened to it. That's a week. And it could have been Yeah, I don't know. It could have been in one session, to be fair. um, but yeah, it was properly ruined. So we're gonna have to change that one out because it don't look great. Again, just checking the rooms just to see, just on the bottom floor. I did the top floor last week. That's why I prioritize each floor different weeks. So it's the bottom floor week this week. So after this video ends, I go and do all the rooms and do my usual maintenance stuff. But yeah, we're gonna rehead this snare drum now. You can see from this angle, to be fair, that crater in the middle is properly ruined. It was pretty fresh when I put it on as well. There I gave up with that little drill. So recently I've been using the Evans drum key is great. I use that at our studio now. I always forget it to bring it here though for the morning because it's sort of the studio's key. So I find with this Tamaki you can twist it like this and it actually works really well. I don't know if they intended this when they made it. Maybe they did, you know, because the key's in the middle, isn't it? So maybe they did. But it's pretty rapid when you spin it like that. It's not as cool as the pulley mechanism from the Evans key, but I have a soft spot for the Tama keys, you know. I think they're great. There you go, just get rid of that head. You can sort of see what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm sort of showing the wrong camera there. But yeah, get rid of that. You can see it's rubbish, so to the bin. Got to tap out all the crap from the inside. And yeah, find a new head. This was a little bit more difficult finding a new drum head because it was like I didn't really have much to choose from. I think I eventually go with that controlled sound, the CS dot, yeah, the black dot one. That was literally all I had. I don't have any more UV2s. We're not doing an order until September, so I'm trying to use up everything. And so when that ambassador gets broken like that within a week, it doesn't matter, to be honest. It's not the end of the world. It's literally like it was taking up space. So if you put it on a drum, it lasts a week, fine, bin it, and then you've got rid of it, and we can start to see actually what the stock looks like, because there's loads of drum heads up there, but a lot of them are like the ambassadors, right, or single ply, and it's like you put them on, they're gone within a week. I could get rid of them so fast. So hopefully this controlled sound works a little bit better. I mean, for a snare head, I wouldn't choose this necessarily. I'm a coated snare head guy. I think a lot of people are. They're way more versatile as well in terms of what you can play. You can't really play brushes on a smooth, clear head, right? So I avoid using clear heads, but again, during summer, we can use up these heads and just get them out there. And when this head gets destroyed in about a couple of weeks, I'll give this one 2 weeks, you know. Probably 2 weeks. The ambassador I'll give a week. This one I give 2 weeks, mainly because of the dot in the middle. Makes it quite thick, but there's no way that dot's getting hit every time. There'll be some crazy dents all around that dot, and that'll be the killer probably. So yeah, gonna use the Vaseline again. Make sure all these tension rods are going in smooth. And yeah, excited to hear how this one sounds. Again, that's quite fun for me, using up all these heads that I wouldn't normally use. So I actually pulled out an EC2 there as well. I don't know if you saw, but I'd never put an EC2 on a snare. I still haven't done it, but I pulled it out because I was like, you know what? Why not? It could sound cool. For a snare, I think, for me, it needs to be a little bit more durable in the middle. I think that's why I chose the CS dot, because it has got that reinforcement. But you could get away with an EC2 on a snare, probably. But I'd never do that myself. I'd never buy one and put it on my snare. So it's really nice for me to experiment, and I get excited about using different heads. Like this is, so I use the Remo CS dot coated head, which I'm not sure the difference. I mean, the difference is it's coated, right? So it's got white coating on it, but it still has the dot. I think the dot's underneath. I think this dot's on the surface, I believe. So they stick it on top. So I basically used the same head. So I was like, how different can it be? Turns out it's quite a bit different, but yeah, you'll see. I think I cranked this pretty high as well. So yeah, I'm just going to give it a bit of a tune before we go downstairs and give it a play. There'll be a lot more tuning videos actually coming out as well, because at my studio, Groove Garden Studios, we just got a really, really cool shipment of UV2s from Evans. So Evans basically were doing, I think they were doing like grassroots or like early studio stuff, like initiative, and they wanted to get the brand, it's sort of brand recognition, right? So they sent us like UV2 kick heads, snare sides, UV2s, toms, and snare heads. So at my studio, we're gonna refresh all the kits and we're gonna put Evans on everything. And yeah, I got a lot of love for Evans at the minute. I was always a Remo guy growing up, but yeah, Evans, yeah, they're really great at the minute. Cool, we're just seeing how it sounds. Obviously, we'll finish tuning downstairs, not up in this loft. It's not ideal for tuning. And the room that it's in makes a massive difference. So whatever room I decide to put this one in, I might even put it in the hallway actually, but do you know what I mean? It's whatever room these drums go in changes the sound massively. So you can get it sounding nice in one room and then take it to another room and it doesn't sound as good. But that's why it's good for all drummers to know how to tune and tinker with your own drums, because you're going to come to places like this and sit down and be like, that sounds horrible, right? And then at least you can go and try and make it sound as good as you can. So I bought it in this room. I think, is it the brown? I think it might be the brown. Same color. But yeah, it don't sound too bad. I actually quite liked it. Not as many overtones as I thought. It could do with like some sort of moon gel on it. I think it'd sound wicked. But yeah, not as bad as I thought it was going to sound. Well, it sounded cool. So we'll see how that holds up. That's another thing, right? I'm going to try and remember these things. And so when I'm there tomorrow, I'll go to that room and we'll see how messed up the head is. And then if it's out of the room on the shelf, you know people hate it. So we'll have a look. Just having a look at this kit. This one doesn't look like it's been used, to be honest, in a week. So I was quite happy with that. Sounded great. That's the white Renown. Don't know why that drumstick's got so much tape on it. That one I'm putting up on the shelf there. It's like held together by tape. So I think the last room here I go into is the live room again. Just because this gets used quite a lot during summer because of gigs and stuff. So every weekend there'll be a gig or something happening. And oh my God, look how much tape is on this drum kit. You could already see it. It's gaffer central. And it's horrible. And this kit, I mean, it does sound pretty cool gaffered up, to be honest. I do like this drum kit. Super dead. Like you hear that, it sounds pretty wicked. But it doesn't sound too bad without. And again, I'm just going to try and take this off really gently because you don't want to take any of the head off. Luckily, this kit has UV2s all around still, so the UV coating on these Evans heads it's really hard to peel off. Whereas before, if you did this on like a normal G2 or Emperor, you're at much higher risk of just ripping the coating off, the white coating, which is annoying because then it just looks rubbish, you know. It just looks like the head might be brand new, but with like a cut out of the white, it just looks horrible. So it would probably get replaced sort of before the end of its life. When I play these kits as well, actually, interestingly enough, there's no kick pedal. So the kick pedal, you have to sort of, they give it to you at the bar. They don't just have kick pedals on their kits. That's why when I play them, you don't hear me sort of using that much. I do hit it with a drumstick occasionally, the kick drum or the bass drum. What do you say, actually? I was listening to, I think it was Steve Jordan. He did a sort of podcast and he was talking about calling it a kick drum or a bass drum. And I to be honest, I was always a bass drum. I always called it bass drum growing up, and then I changed the kick. I don't know when. But I think I like bass drum more. I don't know why. I guess it that talks about the sound more than it does the action. But you don't kick it anyway, right? Or did you used to kick it? See, this is what goes through my mind. Pointless stuff. So here we got a Mapex pedal that's just like completely broken. It's broken in both of the places that these particular hi-hat stands break. I'm not a Mapex lover. I mean, we've got one of their kits in our teaching room, and it's the Orion, and it sounds amazing. It's so cool, but it comes with this sort of hardware, and I'm like, why? It's so inconvenient. Or maybe it's because this stuff's really old as well. Like that, maybe that's it. Like Brighton Electric probably bought Mapex stuff ages ago, so I'm just dealing with it coming towards the end of its life. But then again, I've had a couple of Mapex stalls myself, and they're just like not great. But we managed to get this one working again. They are quite easy to fix. They're annoying because this will always come loose again. It's just there's a little screw. Here we're just using sort of drum tension rods with washers to attach the footboard to the actual stand, and then above that, so while it was spinning, there's another screw that attaches the sort of mechanism foot part to the big metal base of the stand, which you'll see in a minute, and that just needs tightening up every so often as well. Otherwise it spins and then goes really loose, and it feels quite horrible underfoot when you're trying to play it. There you go. So that's the screw I meant. That sort of connects that whole bottom bit to the top bit. It'd be really cool, wouldn't it, if there was like less connecting parts, and like you could have like hardware that's all like machined as one thing. I think that would be wicked. I don't know what happened there, by the way. That was me like humming something which sounded awful. So sorry about that. Now we're just going to tune this kit. Again, you've seen me tune this kit before, so it's nothing new. I like this kit. It sounds really cool, and it's pink, which is quite cool. But I think it sounds quite nice open. But it always has tape on it every time I come in here, so it must be a thing. Like, I think it does ring. It's probably a little bit too much, to be honest, for gigs and stuff. It's probably, yeah, it probably does, to be honest. But it sounds really cool when you play it as like a drummer. Like when you're playing the toms, it's like ba 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 ba, and it's really sort of bombastic. It sounds really nice, but in this room, maybe they need less of that. That's Corin taking the mic, because when I'm in on these Fridays, yeah, all you can hear is ba bum bum ba bum bum. That's my signature. Everyone has their own, I think, in terms of like how you hit the drums. What rhythm do you play? Mine's ba bum bum ba bum bum. I don't know why. Always have, always will. Just going to check out these little rooms. I come back to these. This is like a great example. That room's actually being used for storage at the moment. So it's not even open. That's how sort of quiet they are in there. There was someone already there, rehearsing or teaching, so don't want to go in there. It's very awkward when I go into a room and someone's already in there and I have to say sorry. And I think this is pretty much the last room. I don't think I do much more in this video, to be honest. Oh, I broke the light.
Oh, God.
But we fixed it, so it's fine. So don't touch that light if you're ever in this room. Just play in the dark. Looks pretty haunted, actually, doesn't it, in this room? Especially with that lighting. It's not ideal. So I lied. I do actually have a look at this room. Only briefly, I think. I don't think I do much. I think I'd give it a bit of a clean, just because it looked a little bit grimy. But other than that, it was fun. It's funny how many of those snare drum heads I put on now. You don't realise over the weeks. So those Evans sort of EC reverse dot ones, they're slowly taking over as the snare head of choice. I prefer the UV2s personally, but I think they're a little bit cheaper. I think they're newer as well. So I think Evans want them to be pushed out. So maybe they do a deal on them. Don't quote me on that. I don't actually know if that's true, but yeah, they're cool heads. I like them. They actually sound quite cool. I like the frosted. I thought I hated frosted heads, but I actually really like the look of them now. I think they look quite cool. I was even contemplating getting frosted tom heads for my own kit, which is crazy talk if you know me. But yeah, one of these bass drum claws were off, so that was like super. You can hear it when I hit it. It's like completely loose, so I'll just tighten them all up while I'm here so they don't come off and then be lost forever, and I have to find new ones. See how that one's completely loose as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll leave it there just to run out. But thank you so much for watching again. I really appreciate it, and hopefully catch you in the next one. Thank you.
Lovely.